Booting up Destiny 1 again to grab footage was a little weird for me. I didn't really know what I was expecting, but part of me kind of thought it would feel like kind of a fossil from another era. Another part of me figured nostalgia would hit me like a friggin' bus. Turns out it hit me in this slow creeping way, like recognizing an old smell or hearing an old song you used to love. The skyboxes and the way your ghost flicks on, it took me back to something that I didn't realize that was still right in the back of my head. Destiny for a few years was a really big part of my life, and replaying it now felt like opening a door to a place that I hadn't seen in years.
We're all here for the game.
Destiny 1 was one of the last midnight releases that I ever went to. It may have even been the very last one. I went with my buddy Alex. He and I were surrounded by strangers, completely hyped, and clueless that midnight launches were unfortunately going to slowly die out. Alex and I played the game together a bit after that. He was the guy who I usually would game with when I was a bit younger, and he pushed me into Destiny in the first place. But the funny thing is, he wasn't the friend that Destiny stuck to in my mind. Alex and I drifted apart not long after that, life just taking us in different directions. But Destiny didn't disappear with him. Instead, it ended up becoming a game that I shared with someone else entirely. The friend I actually ended up playing Destiny with the most was Chris. We already had years of Call of Duty behind us, back when COD was in its golden age. But Destiny was still something that we played a lot together. Not the most played game, but the one that still felt meaningful. We'd hop on, run strikes, talk about life, talk about nothing, talk about dumb stuff that you'd forget in like 5 minutes. It wasn't so much about the game, it was just comforting getting to talk to my friend who had recently just moved across to the other side of the country and getting to still feel like he's around. I think it was just really nice to hear how he was doing. Replaying Destiny now brought all that back. Not in a I feel like a kid again way, because frankly, I wasn't a kid. I was 21. Slightly smarter in some ways, and slightly dumber in others. But that version of me still felt close when I loaded up Destiny again. Once I started playing, I couldn't help but notice just how much Destiny feels like Halo. And not in the obvious ways. Destiny has that slightly stylized look to it, but it's still grounded. And that's what I remember Bungie for. And I'm not so much speaking about the premise of Destiny, it's more the world that you inhabit and the way it looks. The story of Halo is grounded enough, I guess, for sci-fi, but the story of Destiny is slightly more unhinged. I mean, you're still in space, but there's a catch. You're an undead space corpse with superpowers sprinting around the solar system, blasting shit because a floating Roomba told you to. It's sort of halfway between realism and a comic book. I mean, most of Halo's UNSC weapons designs were bullpup designs. And Destiny doesn't completely copy that, but the feeling is still there. I guess mainly I feel it in the reload animations. Even when the guns look like someone just took a bunch of wild and wacky shit and just threw it right in the sides. The controls even have that same kind of floatiness, the kind you notice the moment you start flicking around with the joysticks. And also this thing. What do you call this little thing again? The little doohickey? The little thingamabob? A crosshair. That's the word. Got it. And also I really felt some BioWare type vibes in there. Random flashes of Knights of the Old Republic kept hitting me. Maybe it's the way the armor looks or the way the environment seemed to beam when the light bounces off certain materials. I'm not really sure, but it reminded me of Christmas morning when I was 9 and I got my original Xbox. It was literally bundled with KOTOR. Darth Malik was just staring at me from the box like he had some kind of problem with me. So here I am, chilling, grabbing footage, floating in this warm, emotional embrace of nostalgia and old memories, and I unequipped the chroma from my armor. I was about to regret f***ing around. Actually, see the chroma. Oh, what? No! Oh, dude, I f***ed up. I ended up unequipping the chroma from my armor, not realizing that I would have to basically do a big circle jerk run around and get every chroma color until I came back around to the color that I had on my armor. So I go to re-equip it and it's just gone. It's been like 7 or 8 years since I'd played Destiny, so I didn't quite remember how certain things worked in this game. My delightful experience was about to get a bit sour. I did have some chroma in my vault, but before I made things worse, I thought, okay, I should probably find out what I'm doing. So I did the thing that every desperate gamer does. I Googled it, and the answers I found, let's just say they weren't very optimistic. Okay, so my understanding is that chroma can be purchased from 2 vendors, Ava, whatever, however the f*** you pronounce that name, or the Silver Dust kiosk. There's loot boxes, or I have to go complete the level 41 prison elders to get a weekly chroma box. Or there's a weekly Crucible strike, which I don't think works anymore because most people aren't playing the Crucible. At least I couldn't find a game. Or dismantle specific pieces of gear that will give you some. But I'm really not impressed because you still have to go around the whole fucking rainbow to get back to the color you want. Oh my fucking lord. I should have just fucking left it. I went from having a pretty good time and just enjoying the nostalgia and good memories to incredibly frustrated. And such a microscopic bit of Destiny's design. But to me, it just feels so cheap. All the nostalgia, all the good feelings, and all the warm memories washed away in almost an instant. It genuinely felt like I was reconnecting with an old friend, having a good laugh, reminiscing, and overall feeling good. And then they do that one thing that they used to do, and you instantly remember why you stopped hanging out with their ass in the first place. And that was that chroma moment. Destiny 1 pulled me into this memory of who I was at 21. And then reality came in and shattered the good vibes. I'm just really disappointed. It's microtransaction era bullshit. Just little decisions meant to make you consider spending your money. Stuff I didn't think about twice back then, but absolutely notice now. I even felt my mood tank while I was still capturing footage afterward. I went to the Dreadnought to get some shots, and I could just tell that I was just really checked out. I was still playing it, but I really wasn't feeling it anymore. Destiny knocked me out of the nostalgia haze and dropped me right into reality, and I landed right on my ass.
Okay, it's not going to break orbit, but it just might get us to the city.
Here's the thing. I don't hate Destiny. I can never hate it. It gave me some incredibly great memories with friends from that time in my life. It gave me some moments with Chris that I still think about. It gave me a sense of place during a time when I just needed things to be stable. But replaying it showed me something that I didn't expect. Maybe Destiny should just stay a memory. Maybe it belongs to that specific time period. To that 21-year-old version of me who could overlook the game's flaws. The one who didn't think about chroma systems or microtransaction bullshit. The version who cared more about the people he was playing the game with than the systems inside the game. Maybe trying to relive something that perfect is what ultimately ends up breaking it. So honestly, after all this, I don't really know if I'll ever make Destiny content again. I probably won't replay Destiny anytime soon. Not because it's bad, it isn't, but because once the dream cracked, I realized just how much of that magic was tied to that specific time in my life. Now, I should say I do understand that some of the complaints that I have are something that were added into Destiny after the vanilla version, and I'm sort of just reminiscing about my first experience with Destiny, but I still feel like it's relevant to bring up, considering I think this is one of the reasons why I quit playing. The first Destiny will always hold great memories for me. Maybe it's meant to stay there in my memory as an idealized version of what I remember the game being and not so much of what it really is.